Okay, welcome to the May 10th, 2021 regular council meeting of the City of Dauphin. We acknowledge that the land on which we gather is Treaty 2 land, traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Ojibwe, Assiniboine, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and the homeland of the Métis Nation. We affirm our commitment to moving forward in partnership with Indigenous communities in the spirit of collaboration and reconciliation. Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that Council accepts the regular agenda as presented. Any questions? I'll call the question. All in favor? Motion carried. Is Councillor Stakilo on yet?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, moved by Councillor Stakilo, seconded by Councillor Riel. Be it resolved that Council waives the reading and accepts and approves as circulated the minutes of the following meeting, that of the regular council meeting of April 19th, 2021. Any questions? Call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. I think all the councillors are here, right? Yeah. Moved by Councillor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Bellemare, Deputy Mayor Loughlin, I'm sorry, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that Council now adjourns to hear the public hearing as scheduled. Council will now commence to hear representation from the applicants and any other persons who wish to make representation for the scheduled public hearings under the Planning Act. As I read out the names of the list of registered participants, please indicate if you are present. For the first one, and anyone who has not registered but wishes to make a presentation for the public hearings, please state your name so we can include you in the proceedings. The first one will now, we have the public hearing for owner St. George's Orthodox Church and applicant MK Ventures. Those that are registered are Murray Hokus, Carrie Filion, Milton Nicolation, Jerry Ducheshin, and Doris Dunfield. Possibly, is Doris on? No. Okay, we'll start with a hearing. We'll now proceed with the public hearing for Development Plan Amendment Application 1208-374-250, DP 210101 for owner St. George Ukrainian Orthodox Seniors Residence, Inc., care of Gerald Ducheshin, and applicant MKH Ventures, Inc., care of Murray Hokus, for the rezoning of part lot 2, plan 2972 DLTO, part of 100 Cruz Crescent, from a residential area to a commercial area to allow for future subdivision and expansion of the commercial lot located at 1212 Main Street South. Would the applicant like to speak of the application? Go ahead, Murray.
Hi there. Thanks, Mayor and Council, for taking the time. Yeah, in regards to the rezoning, we are looking at that small piece of property. We've had discussion with St. George's over the years, and it's really of little use other than them having to mow the lawn and upkeep of it. We're looking at it from a parking perspective. We are well into the feasibility and planning stages of a facility, and a newer facility, but we really are a bit landlocked there, and we could really use that for approximately about another 35 parking spots. We're not looking at building there. We're looking at putting up proper fencing to be good neighbors. It's just for parking and maybe a little bit of storage, but no permanent structures of any sort would be contemplated at this time, and we'd be willing to, if there was some type of amendment that, we had to sign that said we weren't allowed to build on it, we would certainly be open to that. So that in a nutshell is all I have to add, but once again, thanks for the time.
Anybody else in favor of the application? Does council have any questions of the applicant for clarification purposes? Is there any other person present in support of this application who wishes to speak?
Mayor Al, I don't really have anything to add other than what Murray already said, but that's exactly what our intentions are there, and obviously I'm in support of it.
Corey, thank you. Anybody else? Is there persons present who wishes to speak in objection of this application?
Okay, speak. Jerry Duchesne speaking. I just like to reiterate the fact that we are in accord with the applicants to purchase the property, and I don't think there's any problem with it at all. Thank you.
So Jerry, you're in favor. Okay. Is there anybody else who wishes to make a presentation on this application? The representation for this public hearing are now completed. And Murray, we go, my sister Eleanor, you know her?
I don't, probably maybe to see her, but not ringing a bell. Eleanor, what's the last name, Mr. Mayor?
Anderchuk.
Oh, geez. Yeah, absolutely. She, when she lived in Nepal, she was my mother's one of my mom's best friends. So.
Right, yeah. Just
small world.
Yeah, that's for sure. And she lives in Dauphin now. She's
yeah.
Light.
Yeah.
Okay. Representation for this public hearing are now completed. Thank you for those who joined for this public hearing. Council will make a decision regarding this development plan at a later date. Thank you, and we move on to the next Okanook Honey Products, and it's Ryan. Ryan, you're the only one registered for it?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, thank you. We will now proceed with the public hearing for variance application 1205-231-530/VO-21-01/03 for owner and applicant Okanook Honey Products, care of Ryan Yakimish, for lot 18, block 8, plan 420 DLTO 18 King Street, to vary the site area and width to allow for the construction of a 18 130 square foot, single-story, two-family dwelling in a multi-family zone to comply with the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw. Murray, would you like to speak in favor of the application?
Milton and Jerry?
Oh,
Is now exiting.
sorry. Thank you, Mayor and Council. Yeah, that's our intention for that piece of property is to develop a kind of a rental, a duplex space to be consistent with the other duplexes in that area. We've tried to keep it of similar format of the other structures that are in that area and positioning of that building to follow suit with the rest of the development in that area.
Does council have any questions of the applicant for clarification purposes? Is there anybody present who wants to speak in objection? Seeing nobody. The representations for this public hearing are now completed. Thank you to those who joined us for this public hearing. Council will not be making, no, actually, we may be making a decision tonight regarding this variance. And we'll be notifying the individual. Moving on to the next hearing, and we have Dale Jacobs as a applicant. We will now proceed with the public hearing for conditional use application 1202-055,000/CU 2101/02 for owner and applicant DJKL Holdings Limited, care of Dale Jacobs for Lot 11, Block 10, Plan 243 DLTO 223 Main Street North to allow the renovation of existing unoccupied second floor apartments to be converted to two-family dwellings in a commercial central zone to comply with the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw. Would the applicant like to speak in favor of this application?
Sure, yes. Pretty much the primary objective here is to continue to develop living space options for young professionals coming to Dauphin, and as well being in a key area of the city downtown, continue to revitalize the downtown core in regards of having more options for downtown living with the existing building. So we're very excited to start working on that project and provide some better options for hopefully young professionals either living here or coming to the area.
Any questions of the applicant? No. Any objections? No. The representation for this public hearing are now completed. Thank you to those who joined us for this public hearing. Council's decision on this application will be final and not subject to appeal. Last one is 103 Oak Street, Jillian Sullivan and Robin Sneath. Are they on the line?
Hi.
Who's that, please?
Hi. Yes, we are both here.
Okay. We will now proceed with the public hearing application for variance application 1208 378200 VO-21-01/04 for owner and applicant Blue Hills Holdings Limited, care of Jillian Sullivan, for Lot 4, Plan 21360 DLTO, 103 Oak Avenue, to vary the front yard setback and rear yard setback, corner side yard setback, and the interior side setback to allow for the construction of an approximately 5,800 square foot single-story fourplex dwelling with separate attached garages in a residential family zone to comply with the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw. Would the applicant like to speak in favor of this application?
Yeah, sure. This is Jillian here speaking. I know we've been here before talking about what we're planning for this lot, and it's going to be 4 separate units with attached garages, and just the layout that we have decided upon is a little bit larger than the lot allows. So we are applying for variance on the setback.
Okay, does council have any questions? Anybody in objection to this application? The representation for this public hearing are now completed. Thank you for those who joined us for this public hearing. Council's decision on this application will be final and not subject to appeal.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Moving on, Deputy Mayor. Deputy Mayor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that now council now reconvenes to the regular council meeting. Moved by Councillor Riel, seconded
Robin
by
Sneath.
Is now exiting.
Okay. Be it resolved that the public hearing for development plan amendment application 1208-374-250/DP-21-01/01 for owner applicant St. George's Ukrainian Orthodox Seniors Residence, care of Gerald Duchishin, and applicant MKH Ventures Inc., care of Murray Hocus, for the rezoning of Lot 2, Plan 2972 DLTO 100, part of 100 Cruz Crescent, from a residential area to a commercial area to allow for future subdivision and expansion of the public hearing. Commercial site located at 1212 Main Street South be now concluded. All in favor? Any questions? Seeing none, I'll call the question. Any objection? No. Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Euler, seconded by Councillor Juba. Be it resolved that the public hearing for variance application 1205-231-530/VO-21-01/03 for owner applicant Oaknook Honey Products Limited, care of Ryan Commission, for Lot 18, Block 8, Plan 420 DLTO 11 King Street to carry to vary the site area and site width to allow for the construction of an 1,830 square foot single-story two-family dwelling in a residential multi-family zone to comply with the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw be now concluded. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that the public hearing for conditional use application 1202055000/CU 21-01-02 for owner applicant DJKD Holdings Limited, care of Dale Jacobs, for Lot 11, Block 10, Plan 243 DLTO 223 Main Street North, to allow the renovation of existing unoccupied second floor apartments to be converted into two-family dwellings in a commercial central zone to comply with the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw be now concluded. Any questions? Call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Stakilo, seconded by Councillor Yell. Be it resolved that the public hearing for variance application 1208-378-200/VO-21-0104 for owner applicant Blue Hills Holdings, care of Jillian Sullivan, for SB Block 4, Plan 2160 DLTO 103 Oak Street, to vary the front, rear, corner, and interior side setbacks to allow for the construction of a 5,800 square foot single-story fourplex dwellings with separate attached garages in a residential family zone to comply with the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw be now concluded. Any questions? All the questions. All in favor? Oh, I go through this all again. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Lachlan. Whereas due notice was given with respect to variance application 1205230/VO-21-01/03, and whereas no objections were received to the application, be it resolved that variance application 1205230/VO-21-01/03 for owner and applicant Oaknook Honey Products, care of Ryan Yakimission, for Lot 8, Block 8, Plan 420, DLTO 11 King Street, to vary site area from 600 square meters to 534.42 square meters, and site width from 19.8 meters to 15.24, to allow for the construction of a 1,830 square foot single-story two-family dwelling in a residential family zone to comply with the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw be approved with the following conditions. Owner applicant shall obtain and submit all required permits, documents required by the City of Dauphin for the construction of the proposed duplex dwelling, and all construction shall conform to the Manitoba Building Code. The new duplex dwelling will require a new service branch connection from the main lines to the building. The owner will be responsible for cost of services. Lot service drainage cannot adversely affect the adjacent properties, it is recommended that it be done in consultation and cooperation with adjacent property owners. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Eilers, whereas due notice was given with respect to conditional use application 1202 05 5000/CU-21-01/02, and whereas no objections were received to the application, be it resolved that conditional use application 1202 05 5000/CU-21-01/02 for owner and applicant DJKD Holdings Limited, care of Dale Jacobs, for Lot 11, Lot 10, Plan 243 DLTO, 223 Main Street North, to allow for the renovation of existing unoccupied second floor apartments to be converted into two-family dwellings in a commercial zone to comply with the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw. Be approved with the following condition. Owner applicant shall obtain and submit all required permits and documents required by the City of Dauphin for the construction of the proposed dwelling units, and all construction shall conform with the Manitoba Building Code. Any questions? Call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Yell, second by Councillor Juba, whereas due notice was given with respect to variance application 1208 378200/VO-21-01/04, and whereas no objections were received to this application, be it resolved that variance application 1208 378200/VO-21-01/04 for owner applicant Blue Hills Holdings, care of Jillian Sullivan, for SP Lot 4, Plan 2160 DLTO, 103 Oak Avenue, to vary front yard setback from 9 meters to 6.9, rear yard setback from 7.5 to 4.58, corner side setback from 4.5 meters to 22.7 meters, interior side setback from 3.5 meters to 2.74 meters, to allow for the construction of a approximate 5,800 square foot single-story fourplex dwelling with separate attached garages in a residential family zone to comply with the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw. Be approved with the following conditions. A building permit be required from the City of Dauphin for the construction of the proposed fourplex dwelling, and all construction shall conform to the Manitoba Building Code. A complete set of construction drawings will be required and include professional engineer design stamp drawings, and include limiting distances and spatial separation between construction requirements. The cost of construction and maintenance of a new driveway access approaches will be the responsibility of the property owner. The new fourplex dwelling unit will require a new service branch connection from the main lines to the building. The owner will be responsible for the cost of this service. Lot service drainage cannot adversely affect the adjacent property. It is recommended that it will be done in consultation and cooperation with adjacent property owners. Any questions? Call the questions, all in favor? Motion carried. There was 4 zoning applications, correct? And there's only 3.
Development plan agreement gets, the amendment gets approved after it goes to third reading. So the bylaw is going for second reading today, and we held the public hearing, and then it goes for review. We get review from the province, and then it goes to third reading, and then there will be an approval resolution at that time.
Oh, that's the Twin Motors one?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Gas up for the next one. Moved by Deputy Mayor Lachlan, second by Councillor Juba, be it resolved that all items listed on item 5 under item 5 consent agenda be approved as follows and form part of these minutes. The action items are the National Police Week proclamation, whereas National Police Week began in 1970 as a way for the police to connect with their communities and to increase awareness about the services they provide. And whereas the theme for National Police Week 2021 is working together to keep our communities safe, which recognizes that public safety involves a collaborative effort with the police agencies and between police services, first responders, as well as social and community organizations. And whereas police take pride in their leadership and support role of the 4 pillars of health and safety, which are treatment, harm reduction, enforcement, and prevention, as frontline first responders, police officers are often the gateway to community supports. And whereas the City of Dauphin celebrates and commends police officers for serving as a valuable public safety partner for their critical role in contributing to the safety of citizens and communities across the country. Now, therefore, we, the Council of the City of Dauphin, do proclaim May 9th to 15th, 2021 as National Police Week. And I'll sign the proclamation. Next one, National Public Works Week. Whereas Public Works professionals focus on facilities, services, and infrastructure that are vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities, to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of Dauphin. And whereas facilities and services and infrastructure could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public work professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees of all levels of government and the private sector who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. and whereas in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and the children in Dauphin to gain knowledge of and to maintain a progressive interest in and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in our community, and whereas 2021 marks the 61st annual National Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association and Canadian Public Works Association, we, the Council of the City of Dauphin, do proclaim May 16th to the 22nd, 2021 as National Public Works Week, and I'll sign the proclamation. Outstanding, as recommended by the mayor and city manager. Outstanding water accounts added to taxes, 31 Center Street, $14.08. Previous tenant did not pay final utility bill as recommended by the Director of Finance and Utility Clerk. Filing items for AMM Parkland Directors Update 2020, April 2021. News Bulletins April 26, May 7th. News Release Bill 37, Clear Standing Committee. Member Advisories, AMM Board Positions, and June District Resolutions. FCM, the communiques, new keynote speaker and early bird extension 2020 annual conference, workshop details, connect with the party leaders at the 2021 annual conference, budget 2021 significant news for rural communities, FCM Connect of April 27th and May 4th, Manitoba media releases, health and seniors care, precautions to minimize tick exposure, agriculture and resource development, reminder to be wildlife smart, family online engagement for accessibility standard for customer service, and the COVID-19 bulletins. Municipal relations, education, property tax rebate, Manitoba emergency response request for wildfire assistance, remote piloted aircraft systems, drone operators, Prairie Mountain Health, their newsletters of April 2021 and May 2021, Community Futures Parkland newsletter, April 2021, H Friendly, Manitoba celebrating community collaboration, Call to Recycle Canada newsletter of 2021, Manitoba Emergency Organization Wildlife Preparedness, Thompson Council Chambers, funding for EV charging infrastructure, Rural Manitoba Economic Development Corporation, first Chief Executive Officer, and Volunteer Manitoba, 38 Annual Volunteer Awards, Long-Term and Continuing Care Association, Manitoba's Unsung Heroes, Manitoba Pipeline Association, Pipeline Plug-in Section, Municipal Guide to Zoning Bylaws in Manitoba, CN right-of-way vegetation control, as recommended by the mayor and city manager. If you have any questions, read all the
Mr. Mayor,
notices.
there is a question in Council Chambers.
I'm sorry,
Councillor Reel has a question.
Councilor Rio, go ahead.
I actually have two, Mr. Mayor. So for our June district resolutions, will we be discussing that as a council at our next meeting?
Were they allowing June district resolutions?
Yes, that was for the district meeting for June 7th. There was the memo there talked about resolutions. I just wondered if we can put that on the agenda to see if we have any resolutions we want to forward.
Sure. Isn't it a little later on in June?
I think that the schedule is a little bit different this year with their online meetings. So I think the answer is yes, we can schedule that for the next meeting.
June 23rd is the district meeting.
I think it's somehow June 23rd rings in my head. I don't know. Is that right?
June 23rd for the Parkland District meeting.
So we'll put it on the next council agenda. Next question.
Thank you. And I just wanted to ask for our city manager, maybe, how does the first chief executive officer for economic development rural, how do you see that fitting in, or what advantage will that have for our community?
That's an excellent question, certainly. Mr. Mayor, do you have some comments on that first?
Yeah, well, it's been about 3 years coming that they finally formed the economic development. I think the office is in Brandon, and hopefully they'll be reaching out to Manitoba rural communities, and especially Dauphin, because we were to get an office at one time that has been scrubbed. So we have I have, and maybe council has, a lot of questions of the chief executive officer, and hopefully if the chief executive doesn't reach out to us, we'll reach out to her.
That's all I would add is that it's actually on my list of things this week that I want to reach out to her through our economic development manager and see what their process is to meet with communities and to I guess get a feel of is it something where they're hitting the ground running, or are there small steps and they're just learning about communities, or what their ideas are for what this office is going to look like. But I would definitely like to see a lot of involvement with that office in Dauphin.
Great. That answer your question, Councillor Young?
Yes, I just wanted to point it out for anybody watching in online.
Moved by Councillor Eilers and seconded by Councillor Riel. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the following corporate report for the May 10th, 2021 regular council meeting, and that of the city manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You can have a break and have another.
I gotta get some more water.
That's right. So it's been about 3 weeks since our last council meeting, and I've had quite a few meetings. Some of them are shorter. Actually, most of them are quite short in the last 3 weeks. It does look a little daunting, though. I have a few highlights for you as well. So with COVID-19, when I was writing my report last week, there was a lot of talk of new rules coming, but no rules as of Friday afternoon. No rules announced. However, later on Friday, they did talk about some of the different restrictions that were coming on, some more strict restrictions. Again, nothing specific to the way that our city facilities operate. So there would not be any major changes in how we're public facing to the public, just that everybody is continuing to be diligent about distancing and mask wearing and hand hygiene and disinfecting our facilities. We do have disinfectant twice a day for all of our high touch points in City Hall. Later on in the weekend, there was another announcement that Winnipeg and Brandon school children will be moving to online learning until May 30th. There are some exceptions in that regard. And there was I guess a caveat that the other schools in the province would be on higher alert, and there would be perhaps a lot more review of perhaps smaller or mild symptoms, and that students would be home for that. And then a couple things that I did see today, the vaccines that you can that one could get from pharmacies or doctor's offices, the super sites or the pop-up sites, age 30 and up is the for the general population is the criteria for there, or for First Nations that's age 18 or up. I see that the Dauphin super site is up and running today, and so that was good to see. I also did see in the province's COVID vaccine update. They provide a vaccine update news release every day. Second doses are starting to be booked on May 22nd. There will be priorities. They're not sharing what those priorities are yet, but that was the first time I saw any kind of indication about the second vaccines for Manitobans. So those are a few highlights there for COVID-19. In terms of other things that we have going on at City Hall, I've been working with Vermilion Growers on a development agreement extension, and that is something that is further on our agenda today. But back in 2019, Vermilion Growers in the City of Dauphin entered into a development agreement regarding the greenhouse project in Dauphin, and that's at the north end of Mountain Road. A development agreement speaks to things like phasing of the development, responsibilities of the current and future owners, deposits, performance guarantees, insurance requirements, scope of municipal work, which means connecting to municipal infrastructure or creating municipal infrastructure on their site and then transferring it to the municipality. Requirements for zoning, building permits, subdivisions, condition of the site during the building, like property standards, the requirements for vegetation and landscaping, civic addressing, conditions for completion of the project, and any other items that are required specifically for that development. The standard development agreement that we always start with is about 25 or so pages long. Well, back in 2019, it was Vermilion Growers' intent to complete the project within 2 years. Circumstances did not provide for that. Therefore, they have asked for an extension to the development agreement. With administration's review of the January 17th, 2019 agreement, we determined that there were 3 items that needed to be amended: the phasing of the project, the site plan, and the duration of the agreement. So we worked on those together with Vermilion Growers, and then we have a development agreement, Amendment 1, that is on today's council agenda for consideration. Something else that we got notice of was the accommodation tax bylaw. So on April 28th, Mayor Dohan received correspondence from the Honorable Scott Fielding, Minister of Finance, indicating that the City of Dauphin's accommodation tax bylaw was approved and can come into effect the first month after the province lifts its state of emergency that's currently in place due to the pandemic. We don't know when that declaration will be lifted. If it's 2021, but administration will be, so we don't know when the restriction will be lifted, but this year, 2021, we'll be consulting with our Economic Development and Tourism Board, as well as Dauphin Recreation Services Board, determined to start those discussions about the proposed course of action for the funds raised by the tax. And as a reminder, the tax rate is 5% on hotel stays, and the funds raised will be used in the following year of tax collection. 30% of the proceeds will go towards tourism and economic development that will encourage tourist visits, growth in our economy, while the remaining 70% of the proceeds will go towards recreation and active living in both to ensure both opportunities are maintained and appropriately enhanced to support continued use by our residents and tourists. Another thing that I've been working on is the affordable housing. So on March 31st, 2021, Manitoba Housing Renewal Corporation provided the City of Dauphin a one-time grant of $714,600 to put towards affordable housing in our community. Again, last week, I did not have as many details as I do today because I did have a meeting with Manitoba Housing and CMHC. Things that I can share is that the housing projects must be affordable as defined by Manitoba Housing and remain so for 20 years. The funding must be distributed by March 31st, 2022, and the projects must be completed by March 31st, 2023. I did say in my report that I did have a meeting today with Manitoba Housing and other participating communities in the program. And so I hope to learn more about the criteria. I will say that most of the presentation today was to do with the Canadian Housing Corporation and some of the funding that is available through them so that we can try to stack as much funding as possible to get developers as much funding that as they need to get projects into our communities. So I actually subsequently reached out to 2 city managers, one from Selkirk and one from Thompson, to start brainstorming a little bit about what they're doing in their communities so that we can come up with a program that works for us, but we also don't have to reinvent the wheel. So a little bit more work to do there before we are able to announce anything. And the last thing I believe I talk about is our bylaw enforcement information sheets. So I've really appreciated our bylaw enforcement officer and the effort that he's been putting into educating our community with monthly information sheets. So distribution of this information is through social media. There's paper copies available at City Hall. And quarterly, there with the utility bills, that particular month's sheets will go out as an insert in the utility bill. Upon review of the utility bill distribution, it was determined that about 250 properties do not receive these bills because their landlord or another entity pays their utility bill. So the bylaw enforcement officer will be delivering these approximately 250 sheets door to door, starting with the April version. And we deemed that one to be quite important because it did have information about spring cleanup. And that was something that we wanted to get out into our community to let them know or to reinforce spring cleanup and make our community sparkly fresh if we could get some rain as well, right? So we will evaluate what this process entails, how much effort it is, and really if we see the benefit of it. But we just wanted to let council know that this is what we're doing to make sure that all the information is getting to as many residents as possible or many properties as possible. And that helps us support council's directive through the strategic plan for more engagement with our community. And that concludes my report.
Any questions of the city manager?
I have one, Mr. Mayor. Charlotte, for those monthly emails that the bylaw office or the monthly reports that the bylaw officer is doing, you said that they're being circulated on social media. Could you clarify what kind of social media is being used for those?
So we use Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Okay, is it possible to get those bylaw reports sent out via email as well? Because I'm thinking that for people who aren't on social media, you know, because I think we have people who signed up to get mailings through email, but they may not be on social media, and then they would only be getting the quarterly reports. Is that a possibility?
That's already been done as well.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Councillor Eilers has a question as well.
My question is to affordable housing funding. You said you had a meeting and you were getting more information. My question is there another meeting planned, and when is it? And when will we be given the parameters? Basically, you need parameters in order to do planning. Otherwise, you can do all the planning and then they set out parameters that your plan doesn't fit.
Yes, exactly. So I actually brought my notes today for my next steps. So what they're looking at doing, honestly, is they gave us a bunch of general information and they gave us a bunch of examples and whatnot, but this is Manitoba Housing. So it appears that we have to brainstorm and come up with a plan or a way to distribute the money. And then we have to get it approved by Manitoba Housing. And then that's the plan to distribute, how to distribute it. And then we have to whether we're gathering proposals or soliciting projects or what have you, then we have to get a list of what those are based on this approved plan to distribute the money. Manitoba Housing then has to review those projects. And if it passes their review, then council has to approve the project as well. So I'm starting to piece together some of the steps, but it sounds like from this point forward, Manitoba Housing will be dealing with us on an individual basis, and there would not be any big conferences or big meetings going out to the group.
So I'm just wondering, how are you going to put it out, this plan or rollout plan, to enable different organizations to apply for this funding?
You know, all good questions. I had a lot of eggs in my basket of the meeting that started at 4 o'clock started at 2 o'clock this afternoon and ended at 4. And I didn't get, there was no good answers. So this is something that we have to look into in this week.
Thank you.
Any other questions of the city manager? Hearing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor of the report? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that the finance accounts, having been examined by council, be hereby authorized and approved as follows. Checks number 27994 to 28045, 52 checks for $218,013.99. The electronic payments, there were 6, 231,766.74. That was mainly payrolls. Any questions? Call the questions on. Do you have one, Councillor Juba? I mean, Councillor Eilers?
Yes, I wanted to ask, is this Forbidden Flavors Roastery and Dauphin or local business?
No, that was something that we started several years ago in, it's from Brandon.
So, any other questions? All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Stakilo, second by Councillor Juba. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the unaudited financial statements before FASB for the period ending January 31st, 2021, including the general fund balance sheet and income statement, utility fund balance sheet, and utility income statement. Any questions? All the questions, all in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the unaudited financial statements before FASB for the period ending February 28, 2021, including the general fund balance and income statement, the utility fund balance and income statement. Any questions? I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Juba. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the reserve reports for January and February 2021, and they're in good shape. Any questions? All the questions, all in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved, Council accepts as information engineering staff report for May 10th, 2021, and that of the building inspector. Any questions? Call the question. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Riel, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the following protective services for May 10th, 2021, regular council meeting, that of the animal control rodent reports for May, from January to March 2021. Any questions? Call the questions. All in favor?
Mr. Mayor, there's a question here in council chambers. Councillor Reel.
Councillor Reel, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I have two again. Just wondering if it would be possible to include the number of complaints that the animal control officer receives from the public. Reason being is that I see a lot of, I guess, talk and engaged conversation on Dauphin Talk and social media about dogs at large. And I see in 3 months we've captured 2 dogs and 7 cats. So I'm just wondering if there's a way to be able to report how many complaints they receive, whether it's an actual, you know, are these people reporting, or are they not reporting and just complaining on social media, or could we look into that?
Could the city manager talk to the animal control officer?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And my second question.
It's a valid question.
And my second question, Mr. Mayor, would be, I remember, I believe when our animal control officer was in here and we had talked about patrols of Vermilion Park. I wonder if we could also find out if he's been on those patrols, city manager. Just again, wondering, I've just started after being bitten, what, 2-3 years ago now, by a dog going back into Vermilion Park, and there's so many dogs off leash. Just wondering if we could emphasize the importance of patrols. And I wondered about signage. Do you know the dog signage in Vermilion was supposed to go up? Do you know when that will be done?
I apologize. I thought that was up already. So I will get on that.
So further on that, sorry, when the signs go up, is it possible to get some publicity on that, just to remind people about that dogs need to be on leash in Dauphin?
Yes.
Thank you.
And Councillor Eilers.
It's Councillor Eilers. My question is, and maybe this is a good PR for all of us to do. I had asked a lady to make sure that her dog was on a leash, and she felt that her dog was really small and did not necessitate it to be on a leash. I think I said there's no side limit. All dogs, when you're out of your yard or out of a confined area, the dog park, they have to be on a leash, no matter what the size is. So maybe we can reiterate that. I found I got bit by a real small dog, and I don't think size matters. A bite is a bite.
Yeah, and sorry to belabor this point, but when they did publicity on that animal control bylaw, lots of other features of that animal control bylaw were mentioned, but the leash aspect was not mentioned. So I think we're really overdue on getting that message out there.
Okay. Any other questions? I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Laughlin, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that council accepts this information. The minutes and reports of the following committees: Intermountain Watershed, Conservation Standing Committee of March 17th, Manitoba Watershed District Program, the 2019-2020 Annual Report, the Parkland Regional Library, regular board reports, February 13th, 2021, and April 19th, 2021. Director's Report, April 19th, 2021. Budget Report, March 31st, 2021. Dauphin Public Library, regular board meeting, February 16th. Report of April 2021, and budget report, March 31st, 2021. Dustin District and District Chamber of Community Foundation, summary of activities, March 2021. Communities in Bloom regular committee meeting, March 18th, 2021. Dauphin Rec Services regular board meetings, March 31st. April 28th, reports of April 2021, and statement of revenue and expenses. Any questions? Call the questions, all in favor?
Councillor Reel has a question.
Go ahead, Councillor. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Sorry, you can't see me here.
Yeah, I see you, but
Oh, okay. I just want to make a comment and to point out for anybody that really want to thank the DRS for all that they have endured over COVID, and they've certainly pivoted when needed to. And just to point out that a Toboggan Hill was approved. A group of people got together and the funding for $115,000 for a Toboggan Hill for 3 various age groups will be in the planning for this winter. So just want to send kudos to them for all they're trying to do. And I thought that Toboggan Hill was something very neat. So if anyone's interested in that, maybe they can contact Ryan over at DRS.
And Councillor Real, I think they're looking for a place to put the Toboggan Hill, right?
Right. They weren't sure whether it was going to be at DRS or the grounds over there or over at Vermilion. I guess that might be a conversation that we need to have. Yeah. I think that's where it's at. So.
Yeah. And yeah, it's been trying times for the rec department, that's for sure. Any other questions?
Councillor Bellemare here. Just further to the Community in Bloom report, Councillor Eilers, there's information on the butterfly garden that's being put in Vermilion, which is a really good addition to Vermilion Park. For people watching our broadcast here, can you make some recommendations of some flowers that it would be good for people to plant in their backyards that would be attractive to butterflies?
There's a whole variety. And I usually recommend for them to talk to the local greenhouses. There's a few that have come out that are very good. I know milkweed is one, but there's different variations of it. And I don't have the complete list with me, but most of the flowers are available at your local greenhouses. So versus actually, I toured this just this past week, and they have a whole variety there, and as well as Secord Crow. I couldn't think of Secord. I could think of Crow. Secord Crow greenhouses, and they will recommend flowers. And I can make recommendations, but a lot of times what it means that the flowers will do well, it depends on the location. So most of the flowers that do well have to be in a very sunny location or semi sun and partial shade that do well to attract them. So That would be my guess. I can do a whole list and I can prepare one for you. And at the next meeting, we can make it public or we can put it on our website at the city so people will know. But those are your best sources.
Okay, thank you.
Good idea.
One more comment, Mr. Mayor. Sorry, for Communities in Bloom, if anybody has gone by the berry patch, if you could just thank your committee, Patty, for that sign is beautiful. So I'm not sure who's responsible for that, but it's beautiful.
Team effort.
Okay, any other questions? All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information correspondence dated April 28, 2021 from Honorable Scott Fielding, Minister of Finance, advising that the Government of Manitoba has approved City of Dauphin Accommodation Bylaw 07-2020, and further be it resolved as per the directive included in the ministerial approval, Accommodation Tax Bylaw 07-2020 will come into the effect in the first month after the lifting of the provincial state of emergency currently in place due to COVID-19 pandemic, or a logical time shortly thereafter. So probably we'll have to make an amendment to the City of Dauphin to the bylaw. I think we had a different date for start date, so we'd have to make a different a change in the bylaw due to the start date. And I think it's becoming close to reality. Thank you. Any questions?
I have a question, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
I'm just wondering if you know, so have they, for the whole province of Manitoba, have they dealt away with the hotel sales tax, or just for new people? I'm wondering if any other communities still are collecting. I wonder what their rationale is, if this is just because it's new, or have they shut it down everywhere across the province?
I'm not aware that it's been shut down, but there are 13 other communities that already have the accommodation tax in Manitoba. So as to the collection in these communities, I don't have any information.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? I'll call a question. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Stakailos, seconded by Councillor Riel, whereas on January 17, 2019, the City of Dauphin and Vermilion Groves entered into a development agreement outlining the terms for the construction, municipal works, and other specifics of a greenhouse operation at the north end of Mountain Road in Dauphin. And whereas Clause 70 of the agreement indicates that construction of the greenhouse and municipal works would be completed within 2 years from the commencement of construction, or by a latter date as the developer and may mutually agree upon writing. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the Development Agreement Amendment 1 between the City of Dauphin and Vermilion Groves, and a memorandum dated May 7, 2021 from the City Manager, noting that Amendment 1 revises Clause 70 of the original Development Agreement to allow for a project duration of 5 years from the date of signing of the amendment and with provision to formally review the status of the project after 2.5 years. Further, be it resolved that council authorizes the development agreement amendment 1 between City of Dauphin and Vermilion Growers Limited to be signed and sealed on behalf of the City of Dauphin by the mayor and city manager. Further, be it resolved that as an extension of the original development agreement, Amendment 1 shall not incur any fees. However, Vermilion Growers shall be financially responsible for registering Amendment 1 as a caveat on the title. Any city manager mentioned this in their report. Any further questions? There's looks like there's a lot of activity, so at the site, so it's closer coming to the reality, and financing is always a big variable in the development of a project. So feel very confident that Vermilion Growers is going ahead with the project, and financing will shortly be announced. Any questions? Call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Bellemare, whereas in 2021, the City of Dauphin and RM of Dauphin agreed to co-sponsorship of the Dauphin and District Handy Van, which includes jointly responsibility for any financial shortfalls incurred by the Handy Van. Be it resolved that Council accepts this information in a formal District and Dauphin and District Handy Van sponsorship agreement between the City of Dauphin and RM of Dauphin, and a memorandum dated May 6, 2021 from the City Manager outlining the terms of the agreement, which includes the sharing of any financial liability on a per capita basis between the two municipalities after the disposition of all assets in the event that the Handy Van is unwilling or unable to continue operations. Further, be it resolved that Council authorizes the Dauphin and District Handy Van sponsorship agreement be signed and sealed on behalf of the City of Dauphin by the Mayor and City Manager. Any questions? I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Stakila, Deputy Mayor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Stakila, whereas the City of Dauphin posted a request for proposals for a 2021 road improvement program on March 17, 2021, which closed April 6, 2021. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information a memorandum dated April 7th, 2021 from the former Director of Public Works and Operations, outlining the 3 proposals received as part of the 2021 road improvement program, and recommending the following contractor be awarded the work: Sterling Enterprises for a total proposal of $536,215.80 plus GST, which is approximately $43,000 under budget. Further, be it resolved that Council agrees with the recommendation and authorizes 2021 road improvement program contract to be awarded to Sterling Enterprises. Any questions? Mike, you have any idea on when Sterling will start?
I don't know if Daryl's been in touch with them too much since the project closed, as we've been awaiting approvals from the budget. So I know I've seen their foreman around town already, which is a good sign. So I believe he may be starting to plan some of the patching work, the early kind of stuff they can get to as, but I don't know of any date at this time.
Okay. Any questions? All in favor? Sterling has done a lot of work for the city of Dauphin. It's a local area contractor, and we're looking forward to a lot of work. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Bellemare, losing gas. Whereas the COVID-19 pandemic has resulted in the necessity for a more robust communication system in council chambers, not only to ensure council and public participation in council meetings and public hearings, but also for the use of other meetings. Be it resolved that council accepts this information, a memorandum dated May 10th, 2021 from the ICT manager advising that a total of 5 submissions ranging from $44,912.98 to $89,000 were received in response for the RFP for the supply and installation of a conferencing system, and recommending that the contract be awarded to ProSound and Communications for a cost of $44,912 plus 98 cents plus an additional $1,425 for the addition of a dedicated touch screen to control the system. Further be it resolved, the council agrees with the ICT managers and awards the RFP to ProSound and Communications for $46,337.98 plus applicable taxes, and authorizes the contract between the City of Dauphin and ProSound Communications be signed and sealed on behalf of the City of Dauphin by the city manager. Further be it resolved that council accepts this information correspondence dated April 2021 from Kit Daly, Executive Director of the Dauphin and District Community Foundation, advising that the city is a successful application of $4,000 community grant toward the conferencing system. Further be it resolved that council accepts this information, the Community Foundation terms of grant agreement, and authorizes the agreement be signed and sealed on behalf of the City of Dauphin by the mayor and city manager. Any questions? Justin, are you on the line? Any idea, once we pass this resolution, when the work will start?
So, Mr. Mayor, what we're trying to do is coordinate this in the summertime when there's a large gap in meetings, because we potentially, if it's in midstream, it would be really difficult to hold one of these hybrid meetings. So we're looking at our summer schedule.
Okay, that's good to know. And to me, will be part of the 21st, no, part of the future, I guess. Moved by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved, the council accepts this information, a memorandum dated April 14th from the marketing coordinator recommending approval of a proposal from the Dauphin and Rail Museum to reconfigure 2 sets of rail wheels into benches for public use in the CN Park, and a request from the city to assist in the relocation of the heavy rail wheel sets to the west of the CN station, with Deputy Mayor Loughlin doing the heavy lifting. Further, be it resolved that Council agrees with the marketing coordinator's recommendation and approves the placement of the reconfigured rail benches in CN Park, which will enhance CN Park, the exterior of the Dauphin Rail Museum, CN Station, and the provision and in-kind assistance to this project and the proper equipment and operator. Any questions? The addition of Deputy Mayor Loughlin was intended to be a joke. Nobody's laughing, so. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carried. Sort of looking forward to seeing it. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Juba. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information dated April 15, 2021 from Mike Gagne, Director of Preparedness and Response for the Manitoba Emergency Measures Organizations, and a memorandum dated April 16, 2021 from the Municipal Emergency Coordinator, noting that the amendment under Emergency Management Act regulations, Preparedness Regulation Section 13.2, to conduct an emergency management exercise in 2021 be suspended due to ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Any questions? Call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, Councillor Stikilo, be it resolved, the Council accepts as information correspondence from Jasdeep and Nevgan, Manager of Western Canada Public and Government Affairs, CN, regarding the proposed combination of Kansas City Southern, and requesting a letter of support regarding this merger from the City of Dauphin to the Surface Transportation Board. Further, be it resolved that Council, City of Dauphin, does support CN's acquisition to KSC and believes the enhanced rail network under CN and CN's commitment to safety, reliable service will enhance north-south trade. And Jasdeep was very instrumental in getting the trains, the pipeline trains moving through Dauphin without stopping for half an hour. So they have a great commitment to Dauphin. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carried. Holy man, what a lot of whereases in the next one. Councillor Riel, Councillor Juba. Whereas an urgent need for banking services among the unbanked and underbanked, given thousands of villages and rural communities do not have a bank branch, and more than 900 municipalities have expressed their support for postal banking, and whereas thousands of Canadians do not have access to affordable high-speed internet, and the federal government has long promised to bridge the rural broadband gap, and whereas urgent access is needed to establish a robust network of electric vehicle charging stations, and whereas to receive carbon neutral targets by 2050, Canada Post must greatly accelerate the electrification of its fleet. And whereas the extensive network of post offices in our communities can provide a wide range of services as community hubs, and whereas Canada's Post letter carriers and RCMCs can check in on vulnerable residents to keep us in our homes longer as we age, and whereas Canada Post must play its part for a more equitable post-pandemic recovery, and whereas the way forward for Canada Post, the report of the 2016 Federal Public Review of Postal Public Services recommended that Canada Post expand services and adapts its services to changing needs of the public, and whereas the Canadian Union of Postal Workers has advanced delivery community power, a vision of the post-carbon digital age postal services that addresses the above needs and more, be it resolved that the City of Dauphin supports Canada Post exploring providing additional service in application communities where the services would not normally be offered. Oh man, that's a long. Anyway, any questions? All in favor?
Councillor Eilers has a question.
I don't have a question, I have a comment. For someone who grew up in a small community and the banking services were dismissed, and for someone who's worked up north, they are very lacking in any kind of service unless they have a credit card. They can't order. So I think this is a vital service that has been lacking. It leaves a lot of people at a disadvantage. I mean, we just don't realize the number until you travel to these places and see how difficult it is for them to do any kind of purchases or even do any of their checks unless they're automatically deposited, and it's usually in a larger center. So for them to obtain it, it's very difficult.
Good comment. Any other comments or questions? All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Deputy Mayor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Stakilo, be it resolved by bylaw 04/2021 being a bylaw of the City of Dauphin to amend the development plan 14/0/2020 to 2010, part of 100 Cruise Crescent residential to commercial, be now read a second time. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that bylaw 05/2021 being a bylaw of the City of Dauphin to set the 2021 tax levy be now read a second time. And that's the first reading was at the financial plan meeting. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Counselor Vial, seconded by Counselor Eilers. Be it resolved that bylaw 05/2021 being a bylaw of the City of Dauphin to set the 2021 tax levy be now read a third time and signed and sealed by the mayor and the city manager. And I'll have to have a recorded vote on this. All in favor? Everybody's in favor of charging taxes. Great. Thank you. Moved by Deputy Mayor Laughlin, seconded by Councillor Riel. Be it resolved that bylaw 06/2021 being a bylaw of the City of Dauphin to provide for payment of taxes be now read a second time. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that bylaw 06/2021 being a bylaw of the City of Dauphin to provide for the payment of taxes be now read a third time and be signed and sealed by the mayor and city manager. And again, I have to have a recorded vote. All in favor? Motion carried. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Sakilo, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved, Council accepts as information the invitations listed below. The Manitoba Accessibility Compliance Secretary Accessibility Compliance webinar on May 20th, 2021, and AMM's June Parkland District meeting, June 23rd, 2021. We have to register for that, City Manager.
The registration for the Parkland District meeting is, the deadline is June 18th, and I can register you if you send me an email.
Sure. Okay. So if you're interested in joining, let Lisa know. Any questions? All in favor? Now we'll move to councillor privileges, and we'll, I don't know how. Let's start with the virtual people. Councillor Sakilo.
Great, thanks, Mr. Mayor. For myself, April 19th, the regular council meeting. April 21st and 22nd, I partook in the 2021 budget deliberations. on May 3rd, special council meeting and the planning and priorities meeting. I just want to give a big thanks to city staff and the senior administration for their work that they put in towards the budget. I know it's a lot of work for them to get that ready and get it prepared and present that information, as well as the staff to sit in on those calls to provide that information and background for us. It's usually a long couple of nights, but it's really well appreciated, all the information and expertise that's provided. Having, and also with the addition of having to hold it virtually, and some people in the council chambers and some people remotely, everybody just being adaptable to that, the current situation is greatly appreciated from myself for sure. So thank you. And other than that, I had no other committee meetings in the past couple of weeks. But I just want to say, with the new restrictions, I see everybody in town still having to revert to be respectful of the restrictions that are in place, and I appreciate that from the effort that everybody puts in for that. It's difficult times right now, and I just want to say to everybody to be safe, and thank you for your commitment to getting us through this trying time. So with that ends my report. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Stakilo. Councillor Juba.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On April 19th, I wasn't able to attend the regular council meeting at City Hall. I did attend the April 21st and 22nd budget deliberations at City Hall. As mentioned, thank you to senior administration and all the staff for all their hard work in putting the financial plan in place. I just want to give a special shout out to our new Director of Operations. In those two meetings, I was really quite impressed with his knowledge of the issues that in his short time here, he seems to be right on top of a lot of the issues that he's facing as Director of Operations. And again, I just want to rest assured the city that we're in good hands with our new Director of Operations. Moving along, I just want to mention the Dauphin District Chamber of Commerce celebrating their 118th year. They are looking forward to continuing their support for local businesses in the Parkland. May the 3rd, I attended the special council meeting and the financial plan and public hearing here at City Hall. Just for some community stuff, I attended the Habitat for Humanity's monthly board meeting via Zoom, and just a couple of mentions I want to mention. Congratulations to Justin Barshewski. This is his new role as captain of rescue company for the fire department, and congratulations to Darren Killen and Conrad Demery who filled the deputy chief's position. As a reshuffling of the the fire chief has managed to reshuffle everybody and put the appropriate people in place to give them all the assistance that they need. May 4th was International Firefighters Day. I want to thank our local firefighters for everything that they do to serve our community and surrounding areas. Yesterday was Mother's Day, so I want to wish all those out there happy Mother's Day. And just another quick reminder that May 11th is Census Day, so make sure that everybody gets their census in. I actually managed to do mine virtually, or not virtually, online, so if I can do it, it's pretty straightforward. And I just want to offer my condolences to the family of Philip Bauming. Phil is a good friend of mine for many years in the community, and he will be missed. So that is my privileges, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Bellemare.
Thank you. I just wanted to echo what Councillor Stakilo said about the budget meeting and the staff. He said that very eloquently, so I won't repeat it. On April 28th, I attended a virtual focus group meeting for regional connections. And I learned what some other Southern Manitoba communities are doing to assist newcomers. Regional Connections has an office in Dauphin, and they are working with refugees, immigrants, and economic immigrants that come to our city. A few thank yous. A big thank you to community members who are cleaning up from winter and making their yards look wonderful. The green bin program for yard and kitchen waste is in full swing, and if you need a green bin, please contact City Hall and they will assist. And the city's spring cleanup is getting underway shortly, so please stack all your yard items by your back lane and they will be picked up. And also today was opening day for the vaccine center here in town. I'm pretty excited about that. So a reminder that you can call or book online. And further, we had talked about animal control. Earlier this week, a beautiful husky dog followed me home when I was out in the morning, and I phoned Todd Tarrant at 7 in the morning. I thought, surely if he's sleeping, it will go to voicemail, but he answered, and I told him about this husky, and he said, you know, I think I know whose dog that is. And 15 minutes later, the owner came by and picked it up. So the animals are in really good hands in our community. So for people who are putting those things on Facebook, I certainly hope they're phoning Todd because he works hard for the animals of our community. A couple of things from today's council information package. There's a water bottle filling station that's going to be installed at our local library. And I'm mentioning that because several citizens have mentioned to me that they would like to have them. People who come into town and from rural areas and are doing errands around town really appreciate having a water bottle filling station. And also from the Intermountain Watershed District minutes, I think most of us here know about Crocus Hill north of Dauphin. And I know lots of people are going on road trips right now, just looking for stuff to do during COVID. Anyways, what I learned is that they brush the Crocus Hill every once in a while because they need to disturb crocuses in order to keep them growing well. So I thought that was pretty neat that they were doing it. Sometimes they burn Crocus Hill, but they can't get a fire permit. We know that this year is very dry. So just a reminder to not start fires unless you really have to. And you, of course, need to have fire permits. And also fill out that census, really important. Then that concludes my report. Thank you.
Councillor Bellemare, do you know if the crocuses are out?
No, I don't know for sure, but this is the time of the year they'll be out in the next 2 weeks, I think. And now I know why they died in my garden. I got them from a wildflower nursery and they died out. So I wasn't mean enough to them. That's why they died.
Okay, thank you. Deputy Mayor Loughlin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. All these meetings I attended in person, April 19th, the regular council meeting here at City Hall. The 21st and 22nd, we had the budget deliberations here at City Hall as well. As mentioned, thanks to city staff for doing a great job on that. April 29th, Communities in Bloom meeting here at City Hall. Some good discussion there. Looking forward to a few things this year for Communities in Bloom. On May the 3rd, the special council meeting at City Hall, and that was, of course, followed by our latest strategic planning and priorities meeting. Just a couple reminders. They've already been mentioned that Dauphin COVID-19 vaccine super site, it is open. You can get in on an appointment by calling 1-844-626-8222. Also by going online, as Councillor Bellemare mentioned. Today, the province also announced that people aged 30 and over are now eligible for the vaccine, and you've probably heard they're aiming to get everyone eligible 18 and over by May 21st. Also mentioned by Councillor Bellemare, the spring cleanup campaign is starting next week. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to getting rid of all those dead leaves in my backyard and put them in my alleyway there. And yeah, it's going to be nice to have a green lawn again. And one thing I did want to mention, new fundraiser, if there's one group or organization that struggled the most during the COVID-19 pandemic, it's the Country Fest Community Cinema. And they've actually started a new fundraising campaign. This one, though, they're not going out and just asking for money. You can donate and you get all these great perks with certain donations. So go to their Facebook page or go to countryfestcommunitycinema.ca and check out the fundraiser. And the Dauphin Herald also posted a great little video on that fundraiser as well. So support the Country Fest Community Cinema. Hopefully they can be open at some point in the next few months, because it's a key piece to our community. And that does it for my report.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Laughlin. That the Country Fest Cinema certainly needs our support. They've been out for I don't know how long, and there's bills that come in. Councillor Eilers.
Thank you. All these meetings I'm going to mention are in person. August 19th, City Council meeting. On August the 21st, it was the budget meeting, utility, and we continued on the 22nd with the general fund in person. There was a lot of the good discussion on both of these budget meetings. August 23rd, I attended a vet board meeting. And as mentioned on April 29th, we had a Communities in Bloom meeting. We have set a tentative chip and soil day on May the 29th from 9 a.m. to noon. And we're going to have discussion on it because it really depends if we can orchestrate this on the new health restrictions that we have. So that'll be on hold now until we make a further decision on our ability to do this in a safe manner. On May the 3rd, there was a special council meeting with a financial plan being rolled out to the public. And of course, we had our planning and priority meeting afterwards. On May 5th, I completed the initial CIB 5-year plan. On May the 6th, I attended the Zoom workshop, National Communities in Bloom, Community Support. It was called Community Support, Ideas for Success. On May 7th, I reviewed with Versus Greenhouse, Bev, on our Communities in Bloom planters and flower progress. It looks, it was really hard to walk away from all those nice plants that are out there. And I'm sure any of the greenhouses you go, you'll see that there's a lot of plants. In addressing Councillor Bellemare about flowers that attract, I found my list. I'm just going to give a few because I'll ask them to put it in my comments, but the ones you're looking for are things like asters, cosmos, daylilies, the phlox cone flower, which is an echinacea, butterfly weed, latana is one that is a bee balm, marigolds and black-eyed Susan, lavender, just to mention a few. But the ones that we also try to do is to attract the monarch butterflies, and that's milkweed, asters, lapinos, verbena, and zinnias. So just you can look at my notes afterwards, Councillor Bellemare, to get a feel of that. I also want to offer my condolences to Phil Bauming's family on his passing. He worked as an assistant Dauphin engineer for over 20 years until his retirement in 1985. And he also worked as a mental health proctor for many years. And a lot of people benefited from his work in this area. And he was also casual guard for the RCMP. May he rest in peace. And please follow the expanding health orders in order to reduce the spread of COVID-19. As mentioned before, there's the vaccination clinics. And make sure you wash your hands, wear your mask, social distance, and really stay safe. And really try to abide by limited exposure to anybody outside of your household. And that ends my report.
Thank you, Councillor Eilers. Councillor Riel.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On April 19th, I attended the regular council meeting in person here at City Hall. April 19th, I also attended a Dauphin and District Community Foundation Personnel Committee meeting. Attended the budget meeting here April 21st. April 28th, attended a Dauphin Rec Services Board meeting. Attended the May 3rd special budget financial plan and the planning and priorities meeting that was held afterwards here at City Hall. May 5th, Dauphin and District Community Foundation Board meeting again. I just want to, it's being National Police Week. I want to thank the RCMP watching on social media. They certainly have, their CREST team has done an excellent job at impacting the distribution of drugs in our community. It's duly noted. Thank you for all their hard work. I know it's not an easy time for them as well. And want to thank our Public Works crew for all that they do, being National Public Works Week. And also just, I don't know, Mike, if you can pass on to Terry or the crew, that street sweeping crew has done an amazing job. I feel for, I don't know who the poor individual is that does the boulevards, and wow, the dust that goes up there, and here he is in his mask just giving her. So he's got to be the dirtiest fellow in Dauphin. So please send our appreciation. It's not an easy job, and it's certainly duly noted. They do an excellent job there. I've met with several people over the last couple of weeks in regards to poverty in our community. Just a reminder, the Crisis Prevention Task Force and Under One Roof is looking for donations of for $150. You can feed their crew for a week, as well as transportation to and from Under One Roof. It's been suspended at the moment. It's takeout only, but that's a really worthwhile cause if you can donate. The conversations I had were just 1 in 3.7 children are living in poverty in our community. Manitoba is the only province since 1989 where poverty has increased. Every other community and province has decreased, including the territories. We spend over $100,000 in food security in our community. My son goes to Whitmore School and is continually coming home with food. And we also received donation for over $27,000 from Saskatoon, as well as other communities in Manitoba that come into our community. So I really want to thank the community groups who support all of our food security needs for the children, and for our food bank, and those people who have an extreme passion for helping those in need. And there ends my report.
Yeah, very timely, the Councillor Riel, and you know, they do the work that the poverty group does is really unbelievable, and it's great that we have such a group in our community. I think I got everybody on my report is rec board on the 28th. 29th, we had the RM city liaison, and all the work with the financial plan meetings. I was there, and the presentation of the financial plan and PNP state. And reminder that the State of the City address is tomorrow at on Facebook at 12 noon sharp. So on Facebook, if you to find I think it'll be on there, but if you want to find the location of just Google or inquire Dauphin District and Chamber of Commerce on Facebook, and the hookup will come up. And it's going to be good. It's been recorded already, and it's delivered in a monotone voice. No jokes. Nobody's laughing. Anyway, it's been mentioned that fill in your census. It's very important. A lot of the numbers that come out on that are used for our grants from both provincially and federally, and affects our RM city per capita split. So filled my note yesterday, and it went through amazingly well. So it's not difficult. And I'd like to make an announcement that I will be not running for another term as councillor or mayor after October 2022. So if there's people interested, express your interest when the dates come out so that you can enter as a candidate. So that'll be in early I think it's in May 2022. So moved by Councillor Riel, seconded by Councillor Juba, be it resolved that that the council meeting be recessed at 7:02 p.m. We'll take a short break and